Right then, Honda CBR600, been a lot of fun, but bye-bye, because my good man Lee has only blooming turned up on a bike. You rode today because you love it so much, mate, and yeah, you didn't want to bring it down in the van because what have you brought me?
CBR600RR. It's no 6, it's a used one. A demo, unfortunately, has been fortunately, has been sold.
Yeah, you're too good at your jobs. This keeps happening to me. Obviously, it's because they knew I was going to get hold of it, and so someone came and bought it. But let's have a look at this beastie. That is, well, beautiful, to be honest with you. Looks amazing, it's sleek. Having just ridden the R6, this is going to be a perfect comparison. Now, this is Honda's, obviously, version of the R6, I say version of the R6, the R6 version of this, the 600 full-on sports bike. I rode literally this exact kind of model at the Ron Haslam Donington Race School the other day. Loved it, amazing on a track. What do you reckon it's going to be like on a road, mate?
It's a very, very good road bike.
Yeah.
Gearing seems to be better than the perhaps the Yamaha is on the road. As a road bike, it's absolutely excellent. You can track date as well. Produces relatively the same horsepower, but this is the older model, so it's a bit down on horsepower. Not that you know on the road. To be
yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's how much does this go for? Because she's selling this one now. So if people wanted to buy this exact bike, how much would that cost?
It's a used one. It's about 5,499.
Which is not really bad at all, is it? Do you know what I mean? When you consider it's a beautiful bike, and it's also, as we mentioned earlier, it's had a few mods put on it, including the Scorpion race can. Which
it's got Scorpion exhaust on it, indicators as well.
Yes.
Tank protector on there, just most people put on straight away.
Yeah.
But it comes straight off the back of the RC211V, styling-wise, with the under-seat pipes at the time.
Yep.
In 2002, and obviously dominated Supersport 600 from 2002 up until this year.
Yeah.
Yamaha.
Yamaha. Could have just
2002 to 2009 is not a bad history for Supersport.
That's not bad at all, to be fair. And I have to say, I have ridden this model on the track, and it was amazing. Being my first track bike that I rode, it feels tall, it feels lean, but it's got that, I suppose, a little bit almost more forgivingness, would you say? Yeah. Tiny bit, do you know what I mean? It's almost easier to ride fast, I think.
It is, and I think over a given period of time, when you start to really give it some welly, it doesn't seem to drain on you as much as other Japanese bikes can.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, what kind of special features did this model have that you can think of at the top of your head?
Well, they got a little bit more serious with it in 2004, 2005. They put upside down forks on it.
Yeah, which you
radial calipers.
Yep.
Bigger discs. Lighter weight as well, as always with Honda, they were going for a lot lighter weight, so you can use a few horsepower as long as you lose a few pounds. Yeah, totally, because it is power to weight ratio at the end of the day, isn't it? That's what makes bikes so much fun to ride, you know. It is purely because you're riding a machine that's, 150, 200 kilos, and yet it's producing 100, 110 brake horsepower. That's, per tonne, that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's approximately 118 horsepower and about 184 kilos.
So, yeah, blimey, that's phenomenal. It's almost kind of like 600-700 horsepower per tonne kind of thing. Which is, up there with the Bugatti Veyron's 1,000 per tonne, isn't it? So it's not that far off, which, when you consider how nimble it is and you've only got 2 points of contact...
Using less fuel as well. Yeah,
that's a very good point, actually, as well. Yeah, Bugatti Veyron would use a lot, but, man, it looks beautiful, I'm not going to lie, I must admit. I fell in love with the R6 when I had it for a year. Having the one recently, the 09 one was lovely, but I'm really looking forward to comparing this on the road, because I've ridden it on the track. Not only does it look good, let's start it up, because this is with that race can, but I mean, they sound good anyway, but with the race can. Are you ready for this? Let's hold it in the back. Is it a clutch in? Put it in neutral. That's the classic Wilkins thing. I always leave my bikes not in neutral by mistake. Do it, man. I might have just smashed the actual microphone there. Now I know where you're definitely. That is awesome. Oh my goodness, look at my face. I didn't expect it to bark like that, to be fair. That's
No, I thought I had the baffling, I must admit.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was very, very nice. So, CBR600RR 2006 model, which you can buy from Brindley Honda once I've had my fun with it. It's Brindley Honda bikes.co.uk, isn't it? If you want to go check out the other used stock they've got. Personally, I'm going to get my gear on and head out on the road on this. Lee, you've got to take back the CBR600. Do your job, fella, and I'll catch you in a week's time.
Enjoy the ride.
Check that out. Isn't she absolutely beautiful, man? Hello, so it's still Thursday, the 1st of October. I managed to work that one out. Honda CBR600RR is my steed today. You just seen me obviously drop it off. I've just ridden it down just to Selly Oak to go to my good friend Johnny Doom's house, and wow! Okay, the noise for a start. Okay, it's a Scorpion, it's a non-standard cam, but my goodness, it's actually made me a little bit deaf. It's that loud, it's good, and it is illegal, by the way, if anyone complains. Just so taut, so nice to ride. I understand exactly what Lee was saying earlier, actually. You say the R6, as much as I love that bike, it is very jerky, you know. It's literally a full-on, full-fat race bike, track bike. So, you know, it's going around corners, roundabouts, you give a little bit of a twitch on the throttle, it does go away from you. This is just that little bit smoother, and it's beautiful. I gave it a little bit on the way down here. I'll tell you what, it wants to go. It looks nice, it sounds apart. If only the idiotic drivers who cut me up about 15 times a day and pulling out on me weren't there, it would be better, but man, I'm liking the blade. My first proper braid on the diaries, and yeah, it's good. I've got some good onboard footage as well of the guys cutting me up, which could be interesting. So we'll whack that on as well later, and I'll be riding home shortly after I've gone in to see my friend. Rock on. Just got back then from a big ride. Well, not that long, unfortunately, about half an hour coming back from my friend's house. Just took it around some side streets. Wow, I left the engine running because I wanted to reiterate the sound of this thing. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Now, it's great to have this bike so soon after having the R6. As you know, I love the R6. Let's take my keys out, that multitasking. It was one of my favourite bikes of all time. It's an amazing piece of kit. This is my first proper blade. I've ridden the 1000 ABS for a little ride out, but never actually taken it out properly. This thing is special. Okay, it's an 06 blade, you know, it's probably one compared to the new one, but if they got any better, wow. It's not snappy, it's not as sharp as the R6, as I say, but if anything, that actually makes it almost more fun to ride, because you can feed the power and you can bring it. One of the things you learn when you do a lot of track days and stuff and you race is that it's all about progressive accelerating, and it's nice to have a bike that seems to support that, and it just doesn't stop revving. As you heard from when I was just making it bark then, it just goes, it snaps. Honda CBR600RR, oh my goodness. Could it be my favourite 600 bike? It's up there with Daytona and the R6. Different rides, obviously. Daytona 675 at the triple. R6, I think, looks better. This rides just amazingly, and I'm starting to get why everyone who owns a blade does that. You know, they are just amazing all-round bikes. I'm loving it. Good work.